Its features are unmistakable. Bold architecture, sprawling open park space, iconic marble columns. Informally referred to as America's front yard, the National Mall is home to some of the country's oldest and most recognizable monuments, memorials, and parks. With 24 million people each year visiting the National Mall, about 1/3 of them take the time to see this structure, built for America's 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. Poised on the west end of the mall, the Lincoln Memorial sits atop a grassy hill. Those paying homage climb the sprawling hillside along with the dozens of steps to reach the main chamber. But beneath their feet lies one of the best-kept secrets beneath the National Mall.
I think the vast majority of people have no idea what's underneath their feet when they go through the Lincoln Memorial.
And there is little reason for guests to ask. The surrounding landscape presents the memorial as perfectly perched upon a hill that seems as though it was made just for this structure. The inside of the memorial inspires awe as visitors view President Lincoln flanked by his two most famous speeches. But what lies below is a marvel in and of itself.
We are right now in an area that not many people get to see. We are underneath the Lincoln Memorial.
When construction began in 1914, the memorial was built on what was essentially reclaimed swampland from the Potomac River.
It's a hill to the unknowing eye, but it's a man-made. The entire thing is man-made. The construction, in its simplest terms, was to build these footings and these foundations. Once those foundations were in place, the memorial was constructed on top of them.
And once it was ready, earth was brought in to cover the foundation. Finally, stairs were constructed leading to the memorial, creating the scene we see today.
Probably one of the more fascinating things that you would never expect to find down here is this series, a couple dozen in all probably, of charcoal caricatures or cartoons, for lack of a better word. And you can just sort of picture workmen on a lunch break or, a smoke break in 1916, 17, whatever, grabbing a piece of charcoal and then just, having at it.
The crude drawings bridge a centuries gap of history in America's front yard, bringing to life the human element that originally constructed this memorial.
This gentleman appears time and again, and we can take a look at a couple more of the ones of him. That leads me to some speculation that, he must have been somebody important, that the workers would draw him 3 or 4 or 5 times, either to mock him or to otherwise memorialize him down here.
There was no shortage of canvas space for charcoal drawings like these. The dark, quiet undercroft of the Lincoln Memorial can at times have the feel of an old abandoned Gothic cathedral with its high, dramatic ceilings. Footings raised 30 to 40 feet above the ground, holding the memorial on a pedestal, go deep below the ground at the same distance, stabilizing the structure, a design marvel for the early 1900s.
You can see where the wooden forms were that were built, and then the concrete poured into them. So it was a matter of building these wooden forms, pouring the concrete, let it set, move the forms up higher, pour and set, and continue to move up.
The undercroft of the Lincoln Memorial is so well preserved, remnants of the original construction are still present today.
A couple of archaeologists that came down, investigated, photographed it, the things that were worth keeping, workmen's shoes, for example, that were down here, they were cataloged and removed to a storage area.
Preserving historical items and making sure future generations can experience not just the Lincoln Memorial, but the history living beneath it is the goal of a $25 million renovation and restoration project currently underway.
We're going to kick that out and make 15,000 square feet of space down here that will contain exhibits and places for school groups to come in and learn about it. And one of the things that we're going to do in part of that process is to figure out how to show off this undercroft, these foundations and footings that are so fascinating but so few people get to see right now.
Opening the doors and allowing anyone who visits to experience another corner of America's front yard. Make sure you're in the know. Watch We Are Washington, Mondays at 6:30 p.m. on DCN.